Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is our first session of 2025 for the Technomatics Virtual User Group. As some of you may know, my name is Taryn Blake, and I am the Community Engagement Program Manager for the DISW community here at Siemens. Today, our session is about making a 3D worker sit at a workstation. It is a tutorial led by, as many of you know, our host and presenter, Stefan Bangsal. So Stefan has been a freelance simulation expert for quite some time, and he's done hundreds of projects and training sessions. He's done over 20 for us here at DISW. He's published 5 books on plant simulation and is one of the leading contributors to our Siemens PLM community. So today we've got some basic steps that you can see here for our agenda. The first thing is to create a new graphic group. We're going to import a graphic, write a control to show or hide the graphic group. And then we are live, as always. So we'll have a live Q&A after the presentation. So feel free to use the chat, or you can also raise your hand and I will take you off mute so you can ask your question verbally, although you do not have to show your face. I just wanted to show mine so that you know that we are here and live. But yes, you can just raise your hand and ask a question using your microphone. But with that, no more delay. Stefan, feel free to take the screen.
Thank you. Hello again for the New Year's sessions. I guess we will have almost 20 this year, and we start with a very basic webinar for 3D. And if you want to follow, then make a new model here, and we make a very simple scenario where we have one source, one station, another station, one buffer, and a drain, and we connect all together. Okay, the worker should move the part from the first station to the second, and from the second to the buffer, and should work here during the processing time on the station. And we change the processing time of this station to 30 seconds or 1 minute. And we need some workplaces. We need one workplace here, and activate the transport importer. We need a second workplace on the second machine. We need process importer and transport importer. And we need a third. We don't need to activate an importer here because it should only move the parts here to the third station. And of course, we need a broker. And we need a worker pool so that we can use the worker. Okay, if you don't work with 2404, then you need to activate the importer by yourself. And we check this here together. In the first station, there should be activated the transport importer. No processing importer, only transport importer. We have connectors, so we don't need to set a MU target here. So for the second station importer, activate the processing importer and the transport importer. In the buffer, maybe you incidentally activated one importer. We don't need an importer here, so nothing. It should be active. Okay, and this should run. Okay. Okay. If you have suffered such a case, then you need to check the obstacles. Press EO, and then you see the obstacles of the stations, but it should. Okay. Okay. My workplaces have a set offset, and so it cannot work. Interesting. Okay. Okay, the set offset was a problem, and this should be the first step. We have a worker, and the worker moves the part from one station to another. In 3D, we have sometimes problems with the look and feel here of our simulation. And if here is a workplace where the worker walks while he sits, then maybe you need to change the appearance of the worker so that it better fits to the process you have. And so I want to change first this station to a place where the worker can sit. And so please open this station in a new 3D window. And then click with the right mouse button to the background of this frame here, and then exchange graphics. By default, there's inspection place here, inspection S3D. S3D means this is a graphic, and there are also some additional information like path information for the animation of the MU, for instance. Okay, inspection S3D. Open. Looks like this. There's a stair and a desk. And then you can close this window here. And then move the workplace under this stair, because the worker should sit here, and then try to run the simulation. So, and we get a next error message. The following objects are located within barriered areas and cannot be reached by workers. Workplace 1. Okay. You can show this by pressing the key O on your keyboard, and you see, okay, it's completely inside of this station. And if the worker should really be located in this position, then we need to switch off the buried area of this station here. And this we can do in the 3D properties of the station, tab graphics. And here we can select what kind of obstacle for the worker should this station be, and we can set it to none. If you now press O, then you see, okay, this station is not anymore an obstacle for the worker. This may cause other problems, but for our example, it's okay. And if I now try to run the simulation, we don't get an error message, but our worker doesn't sit. He's standing on his desk, in the mid of the chair, and now he should sit. Okay, so we need to change something here in the worker. We need to import first a sitting image to this worker, and then we need to switch the worker to sitting when he is entered this workplace. And as a first step, duplicate the worker from the resource folder, and you get a worker then here in the user objects, and then open the worker into a new 3D window. Okay. There are two different workers here, this one, and this is Jack from Jack and Jill, and there's a second one, and you can exchange the worker completely. Right mouse click, exchange graphics, and then there's a folder workers, and then you have two different kind of workers. You have Jack, static, walking, with two different number of graphics. There's one with six movement images and one with 15. And there's Jill walking 6 as 3D. I select this one, open. And then you get a female walker here. And if you look into the graphic structure of this this walker, then you can see, okay, it has several graphics for several arm and leg movement states, and two different: relaxed with the arm on the side, and carrying is arm in front of the walker. And first we need to create here a new graphic group, and to create a new graphic group, you need to go into the top of the graphic structure and then open the context menu, and there you have add graphic group. And we need to select the name for this, and I name it sitting. Okay, and then you find this here with this symbol. And yet now we need to import a graphic into this graphic group. And this will not work with Exchange Graphics, because with Exchange Graphics, you load S3D graphics with path information and all. If you want to import graphics, then you need to go to 3D in the main menu and left import graphics. And there you find a operator female sitting female here. Default graphic format for importing graphics is JT. You open this, and here's the female is the sitting graphic. And if you click with the left mouse into the 3D window, you get this dialog. And here on top, we need to select the graphic group where we want to import this graphic, and we want to import this graphic into the graphic group sitting. Okay. Okay, now we can update the 3D graphic view here, and now we see it here. You see here, this is this graphic I have imported now. Okay, you can make it invisible here, and now it's okay. These are the steps to import a graphic into a graphic group, and next we need to set up the worker pool, that he creates the right worker first, and by default it creates point resources worker, and just drag your worker here into the table, and then it's user objects worker. If we now start the simulation, then Jill needs to do the job. But Jill, it's still standing here and not sitting. And so we need to program here an entrance control to make the sitting graphic group visible. And this is only one command we need. And so we open the workplace here, and then tab controls, and we create a new entrance control, for instance, with pressing F4. And then I wait 0.1 seconds so that the worker is really standing and not walking. Otherwise, it could be a different graphic groups be active, and so it's difficult to find the right one. If the worker is just standing on the place, then the graphic group is default. And so at point underline 3D point with hide graphic group, I can hide a graphic group, and I need to hand over the name of the graphic group, and default I want to hide, and instead I want to show with at underline 3D point show graphic group. I want to show the graphic group sitting. Okay. So we need to hide the graphic group where Jill is standing on the workplace, and then we show the graphic group where she is sitting. Okay, let's check this. Okay, and now you see, okay, this is not the right position. He's sitting not on the chair, it's sit on the floor. And so we need to change the set position of this graphic group sitting. And so we go to the worker back here, open the worker in a new 3D window. I make it here overlapping so that I can see both of them. Then here I go to show to the graphic structure. I make sitting visible, and then I can mark here this graphic, press the Alt key, and then I can track with the mouse this graphic to the right height. Have a look on the chair on the left side. Okay, this is nice. Okay, and that's it. And then I make it again invisible. So it's very important to make these settings in the class, because after each start of the simulation, a new worker will be created by the worker pool, and so it doesn't make sense to make it only here in the instance of the worker. Okay, what happens if the work is over here on this place? Okay, this is new. Okay, this is new. In older versions, you need to deactivate again the sitting graphic group. And this you do with exit control here in the workplace. And this is quite easy at point underline 3D, point height. Not necessary anymore in 2404, but if you have another version, older version, then you need to hide this graphic group. Otherwise, it tracks, it transports this graphic group while it's working. Okay, and maybe you need to change the color of this. So this was already the short first webinar for this year. And finally, if you need this sitting worker graphic, then there are two different kinds of export graphics from Blend Simulation. If I open this here and then your 3D frame, then this is now part of this graphic. It's here in the graphic structure. Default and sitting. And if you need to complete this graphic with all the graphic inside and all the positions and view animations, then you can export them here. There are export scene, and there are three different kind of exports here. Export graphics would only export this graphic here, the standing GIL. And the second one is export object. And if you select export object, then the result will be an S3D graphic. If you select just export graphics, then it's only one JT. And the last one is just a picture. It's just a bitmap. And so you have two different graphic formats. One is JT, it's just a JT here with all the with all the structures inside. But a S3D file contains much more. For instance, if you go here at the 3D properties, you have MU animations here. You have an animation area for the worker where the MU is animated on the worker, and this is part of the S3D file. It's not only the picture; it's also contains all the animation paths, the transformation, all these settings here. Yes, and this is the different. Okay. Any questions?
Great. Well, CJ has his hand up or her hand up. Let's see. I've just turned on your microphone so you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Taryn. Stephen or Stefan, question about the obstacle for worker options. I've had some difficulties getting the functionality that I was looking for that obstacle options. Could you go through some of those and describe the different use cases for those?
The obstacles you need that the worker not crossing through the objects, and so the object itself, you can define different kind of obstacles. If you press O, you see here there's an obstacle. It's a default distance between the edges of this graphics and the edges of the obstacle. It's, I guess, 0.75 meters that you need if you place, for instance, two objects really near to each other, and like this. Oh, then we need a definition. When can the worker go through this gap here? And I guess this is 1.50 meters. And if we have now a gap in between, then the worker can move through this gap here. And there are several options of obstacles. It's in graphics here in 3D. One is a bounding box. It's just a box around the complete graphic. And then there's graphics and visible graphics, but it's every time it's a bounding box around. It's in this case, it's not a big difference. Now it's graphics. You see there are several graphics here, and each graphic had its own box here. This is graphics. This may cause another shape of the obstacle. You see here you have now several obstacles because there are several graphics, and in the graphic here you can also set if certain graphics should be shown on the top level, and this could also be an obstacle. if I open this here in a new 3D window, I can take this small graphic here and then edit the 3D properties. And then you have graphic settings. And here also you have obstacle for worker. And here you can say, okay, this is not a obstacle for the worker. And the same, you can have invisible objects here. I place a cuboid here, 1 meter, 1 meter, and also this one. And then I can make this invisible. This graphic here, edit 3D properties. Oh, no, this is bad because I need to. Okay, was the wrong starting point. I need to go to the graphic structure. Then I need to create a new graphic group. I make graphic invisible, and then I place this graphic into this graphic group. I need to. So I just cut it here and place it here. And then I make this graphic invisible. Okay. I go up. So. And you see, okay, this invisible graphic here is also an obstacle for the worker. And so this object here graphics has also bounding box of visible graphics or visible graphics. That it's not take into account the invisible graphics. I only want to see the visible graphics. And now the obstacle is without the invisible graphic. And bounding boxes, again, only the graphic here. And so there are so many different ways to define obstacles, and it's just for the search of the right path of the worker here. It's the only reason for these obstacles. So the worker need to find a way through these obstacles that you create or that you place. And if you need additional obstacles, then you can just place here, go to 3D, and down you have now buried area. And you can place a lot of different buried areas here. For instance, 10 by 10 meters, yes. There's a big area. This is just not allowed for the worker to go inside here. I press O, and this is complete blocked for the worker. And this may be in your layout where some machines are, or if you have fences, and don't want to show all fences, and so you can block complete area of your floor for the worker, that the worker don't run through this area. And then you need to find a way. Okay.
There's another question in the chat that came in around that time, and someone is asking, can I hide the MU or hide the MU the worker is carrying, or change the appearance of the MU?
Oh, yes, of course. If you don't want to see the MU that the worker is carrying, then you just delete the MU animation or switch off the MU animation here. Edit 3D properties and MU animation. If you deactivate all and have no paths, then the MU will not be shown here on the worker. This is quite easy. If you want to change the appearance of the part, then you need some trigger. For instance, if the part is leaving this machine here, then you can use exit control rear to change the appearance of the part. But it's quite the same like with the worker. I need to change the part. I take the part A here. I open it in 3D. It looks like this. And then I need to go to the 3D graphic structure. I create a new graphic group, for instance, new graphic. Okay, make it invisible. Yes, then I need to create a new something here. Sphere, not so big, 0.3. Create. Okay. Now I have to create a sphere here. I cut it from here, place it in the new graphic group. Okay, now it's prepared. And then I need here an exit control rear. And then it's quite the same. At point underline 3D. Point hide graphic group. Default. And show graphic group. Oh, I forgot it. New graphic, okay. Okay. Now, yes, I think you see the difference. Now it's round here, but it scales the height of this graphic because it has only this height of this part. Okay.
That's great. We had another question. This is from AJ. He put it in the chat. Can we exchange the graphics for the conveyor as well?
Yes, we can. There's a simple way and a really hard way. So I take the conveyor. The conveyor, it's like the track. It's extrusion object in Blend Simulation, and you can change the appearance of this extrusion. Go to 3D properties. and then you have a tab Appearance, and there you can select between several types of conveyors: roller conveyor, belt conveyor, suspension tracks. So, but if you want to create your own stuff here, then you need to create a table with commands for plant simulation, how to create this extrusion. And user defined here, and I cannot show this, but you can create a table with commands how to plant simulation needs to create this extrusion. You can read it in the help. It's just look for extrusion. But directly exchange, you cannot exchange this. You can use none here. Use defined lie. That is back. Or there's no without completely. But you can delete all this stuff here, and then it's invisible. And delete the last one. Yes. Okay. Now you can make it completely transparent, 100, and then just place your graphic here into this object. You can place here some stuff in the background, and then create the animation structure above this, but it's really hard. I'm sorry, it's not it's not so easy to answer.
So I think we went through the questions that were in the chat. We do have a little bit more time. If someone wants to ask a question, you can still raise a hand. And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to share my screen once more just to show the URL for the forums. This is where the recording will be. So someone asked about this already. They were asking, where will the recording be? So if you look at your screen right now, you'll see there's a URL that says Plant Simulation User Group. So you can click on that URL at this very moment, and it will take you to the page that is shown on your screen. This is the forums for Technomatics Plant Simulation, and all of the recordings are posted there. And it's also, there's an animation on the screen. It's showing you how to follow the topic so that you can receive emails each time that we post a video, when we post registration links for these sessions. And then also, just if you have questions about the particular video afterwards, you can always post in the forums and ask a question. And Stefan also will post the model, the completed model from today's session, in the forums underneath the video as well. So that's just something, if you don't have that bookmarked already, then you definitely should bookmark that URL. And I would suggest that you click the follow button and choose every post for the email notifications. The second thing on this screen is the dates for the next meetings. So we will have a session on Python statistics, which has been requested, some Python details, and that is at the end of the month of January. And then on February 12th, we will have one on sequentially working workers. So those are the next two topics, and that is where you will find more information at that URL. Otherwise, you'll also see on this next slide, this is Stefan's @mention. You can click through that link there, which will take you to his profile in the customer community. And that's his freelance information there. And just as a reminder, again, the recording will be at the link that is linked again there on Friday. But definitely thank you for another great presentation, Stefan.
Thank you. Turn 10.
Clear and concise. Yeah, I see some thank yous coming in the chat. And some applause. Very nice.
Yes. And for the next topic, you need to install some stuff here. You need to install, and all the information about the topics and special requirements you will find in our section here in the Siemens community. And so it's important to subscribe this.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Yes. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Ciao.